Hi everyone, Mike the MC bringing another self-care video. Now that I'm letting the other videos take care of like the regular promise I made early at the start of the year by doing one video per day, now just taking care of those videos with the catechism, I thought, okay, now I open up more time to do these longer videos. And I think this is going to help me as far as drawing out more ideas, talking with you all, and posting longer videos that I've wanted to for some time. Really talking about topics, really drawing out ideas, and really sharing with you all in the audience some things to consider as far as self-care, thinking of ways to improve your life, looking out for good and bad people, and just ways to really use these videos to your advantage from different perspectives, and really just considering how using books. Today I have Gottman, Maxwell, and Carolyn Jessop from these three books. One, Jessop's about letting go of this idea of fulfilling people's needs. In other words, protecting her family. Realizing, hey, I need to get out of this cult. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm to the wall. I got to make a choice. And then with Gottman and Maxwell here, bringing up leadership and also marriage and relationships. Just thinking, okay, if I'm going to use these books to drive out the idea that I have in mind for today's theme, which is really how to work with your followers, or really how to distinguish between a follower and a teammate, and how you can put that into perspective with every area of your life. And I think, how many times have we been burned by a bad friend who really we thought was on our side, but then they really stabbed us in the back. They really blindsided us. We were just not seeing it coming. And I think sharing more about this topic as far as having good relationships and applying them in different areas of your life, that's where I want to go with this video. And so I hope to really draw out a good video for you all today that you can watch for your pleasure, and hopefully it helps you in different ways. So let's get this video started. The first topic I want to talk about is making a choice at the critical decision. Now, before we even go into the other books, just how many of us, like I mentioned before, have worked for somebody in the past to where, okay, we were just satisfying them in everything that we were doing in our work. Yes, yes sir, yes ma'am. I got that. You got it, chief. You got it. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to have that done by the end of the day. You got it. And just thinking about all those times we were saying yes to somebody, letting go of our boundary, stepping over our own will, really just to say, hey, I'm going to please somebody, make sure that they're okay. So that way I feel like, to me at the time, it was just trying to help somebody out in that moment. And I think I've fallen into that trap many times. To where I just cannot say no to somebody. And by not saying no to somebody, I became a weak person. And I do not want anyone to become weak. And that's why I bring out videos like this on this channel. More than just about the catechism and other things, but I really want to talk about, from a counselor perspective, how to help you all to really gain that trust in yourself again. To really love what you have in mind. To remember, hey, you deserve someone special. Deserve a special job even. Every good thing in life, because you have desires and a will. You have to trust in yourself. And when people say that you're selfish because you are saying no to them in the moment, that's okay. I have to remember that too. We all do. We have to take care of people and respect their boundaries. And I think that is something to consider as far as knowing the difference between a follower and a leader. That actually segues perfectly into Maxwell's book here, where Maxwell will bring up, okay, a follower will just tell you what you want to hear. Oh, I made the honor roll today. Oh, I got to the college I wanted to. I got that scholarship. Yay, I have this new opportunity, job opportunity. Thank you for sharing that with me. And they'll tell you what you want to hear. And maybe there are good intentions, don't get me wrong. I can think of friends that have helped me along the way where they'll tell me something good that was of good news to hear. But how many times do you think they were willing to challenge us or really tell us something we needed to hear? And that's the difference that Maxwell's bringing up. Because if you have a leader that you're friends with, they will tell you what you need to hear. Hey Mike, I don't like how that video sounded last week. Maybe you could pick up the audio. See, that was a good comment, because now I have to talk louder, work on my microphone, make sure that it sounds great for everyone in the audience. Leaders tell you what you need to hear in the moment, not just sugarcoat the situation. Yes, the situation may be real, and maybe you have to address it as it is a real situation. Why sugarcoat something that is so serious? Okay, I'm going to go bankrupt. I'm going to lose my home. Oh, I just got fired. Oh, someone's making an accusation against me. right? Do you want to take that lighthearted, or do you take it serious? And some people will say, oh, you're too serious. Oh, they gaslight you. They say, oh, things that really go against what you believe. But you see, you do believe something. Something is that sixth sense triggering you to react, to say something that's happening that you can sense behind the scenes is going against you. And when you have that sense working for you, that's a gift. And people will sometimes neglect that and say, oh, you have to block out your pain. You have to block out the pain in order to succeed. And I think I did a video on this the other day where, yes, you have to accomplish the goal at hand if you have to block out that pain, but you have to listen to it and just to say, hey, this is something I have to address. And I can address it either by letting it go or accepting it and focusing on the problem itself. Now, do you handle the root of the problem, or are you handling the other part of the weed that's the sticker part? That's like, okay, I'm going to get rid of the stickers, but the weed is still here. See, that's where you make the decision. Do I handle the root, the main problem, or do I just handle the little things right now for the moment being, and then I'll go after the root? And so if you're dealing with a toxic coworker, someone in your life that's really taking advantage of you, a toxic person, really consider, how do they support you in different ways? Do they neglect you? Do they say things behind your back? And I think Maxwell brings up a good point here. The leaders will tell you what you need to hear in the moment. And you have to listen to what a person's saying. And it's true. It's a good leader that's on your team that tells you, hey, I don't like what's happening here. We need to fix this or we're going to be in trouble. That's how you distinguish between that one who is a follower that says, hey, keep going. I think you have a good idea. Why don't you do that? I think that's going to be a great thing. Because if you could read through their words behind what they're saying, and you can pick up on that they're making a lie just so that way they can catch you in the act, or they can use something against you because you are now going to make something, create something for the public, and now they can say, hey, look, that Mike the MC character just posted another video. Why don't you check that out and write some negative reviews, etc. You see, the thing is, applying that to different areas of your life. I know I'm using all these examples, but how many times have we fallen into a trap, the Trojan horse? And that is where that segues perfectly with Jessop, with her story. Carolyn Jessop, this idea that, okay, she was in the cult at the time with her kids and family, and she had to make a choice. She realized that their well-being, their survival was at stake. At stake because they were putting so much effort into that cult, giving everything, their resources, their time, even themselves, as far as, hey, that we're going to be here to support your cause, but we have to neglect all of our needs and necessities in the process. And Carolyn recognized that her kids were really in trouble, and she had to make that choice. Do I let go of my pride being in this group so that way I can protect my family, or do I support that group? That is so hard to consider, especially from a religious perspective. And you're thinking, okay, I want to support this church, but I recognize maybe that leader, that priest, that pastor may not be good for my kids. Are you willing to be a good parent to protect your kid? Even at school, are you willing to protect them from a teacher or some other thing? And I know I'm going into a bit of a topic here, but that's the point of this video. Drawing out ideas as far as I can, so that way I can help everyone think of ways, situations that they may have ran into, that they can share in the comments for others to recognize, hey, watch out for this, because that person's going to bully you into the situation. Don't fall into that trap. And that is the hope now with these longer videos that if I have the time to post. So now I'm really elaborating on ideas to express what needs to be said. You get the point. And I'm happy to share that with you all. And I think as far as going back to Jessop now, back with that idea that, okay, her back was to the wall. Her family was stuck in a situation where everyone's lives were at stake. And she made the choice, all right, I'm going to leave this cult to support my family. And now you got to face the criticism. You got to face criticism now because all the people that were behind you saying, hey, why didn't you go for that job? Hey, why didn't you go for that team? Why didn't you go for this opportunity? Yada, yada. You're foolish. You're stupid. That wasn't smart of you. Why did you go with that decision? And you got to battle those criticisms when you make a choice for yourself. But the thing is, another person's good intentions may not match what you need in that moment. Or you recognize that person's intentions are going against you in that moment. That's worse. You see, when you make a choice to follow a religion, a school, a job, etc., you're putting your life at stake. You're saying yes to that contract. Yes, I'm going to spend this amount of time at the work site, 9 to 5, taking care of what has to be done, because I'm going to help your agency, your company, because I know I'm going to get a paycheck and support my family. And the thing is, when you're making the sacrifices to support others, you're put in some terrible situations sometime. Beggars cannot be choosers. That is a very difficult position to be in. How many of us have been in position where we had to beg for support, for some help. And we realized, uh-oh, we're in trouble now. I cannot get out of the situation because I made so many yeses to the people above me, to the people below me even. See, people above may throw people underneath you just to give you something to do, to say, hey, I want you to take care as a manager for this person in this role. Can you teach them? And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, no problem. If you like to be in that role as a manager, good for you. But the thing is, someone at the top may give you that task just to say, hey, if I could keep that person busy for the time being, they're losing extra time to do other things. They can focus on this while I take care of what I need to take care of for the bigger things. See, I can put distractions in front of somebody so that way I can get the upper hand. Now, how many of us have fallen in that situation to where, uh-oh, I've been given a task that I was not assigned to do, or that was beyond my pay raise, the pay grade, etc. And now I realize, uh-oh, it's more than just satisfying and getting respect from the people who give you all these things from the top to you, because you realize, wait a minute, I may be being used in the situation. I may be in a trap now. I may be stuck in something that I cannot get out of. And I've been in that situation before where I was doing all the extra tasks that people were wanting me to do. And it felt good because I was doing some things I knew that I knew how to do, setting things up like furniture, etc. But I realized, uh-oh, by making that extra drive, buying that extra thing, I'm losing resources. I'm losing time. And then Carolyn here recognized, okay, she was losing time and resources, and her kids, their morality, their well-being was at stake. They had to get out. And she realized, all right, I'm going to make that choice to get out. That's hard to do. Hard to do because we have a choice to make whether to please people or to not please people. And you remember, okay, if I am going to stand up for myself, I got to take some criticism. And if I can't take that criticism, then what good am I to somebody who really needs me to step up to be a leader? Because if I cannot voice my opinion, why trust you if you're just going to be silent the whole time? You could be a silent leader. In social work, we call that the servant leader, where you're really going out to serve people by your actions, see? But the difference between a servant leader and someone who is silent, who will keep their mouth shut, may sacrifice their well-being or sacrifice the good of something, some cause, for the evil purpose of somebody else. So don't be someone that will say yes to a negative thing all the time. If you need to step up in that moment, it's going to be hard to do. But when you stand up for yourself, maybe have that argument with somebody, make a stand, it's liberating. This morning I had to make a stand to somebody that I was chatting with on the media, and I realized, wait a minute, I had valid points. I had valid points because I had to stand up for myself in this relationship, because that person was not going to recognize that, hey, I could just bully this person into going into some situation with me just because I know they're a nice person, a nice guy, a nice girl. But how many of us have that label on us, and it's like, do we want to live by that label? If you like being nice, that's good. But how many of us can be authentically nice people to stand up for ourselves? See, that's the difference. We can be nice if we become pleasers in the negative sense, and that is not good. So if we fall into the negative category, which is where I'll bring up now with Gottman and the principles of marriage, he brings up several stories, in fact, where the couples were having trouble validating their points and opinions. One couple I can share with you in the story was, all right, the husband was going to babysit the grandkids of his wife's parents, right? So he was taking the grandkid to the grandparents' house. The husband was to the grandparents or the parents of the wife. But the thing was, those grandparents, they were treating him poorly because they felt he was a negative influence on her, that he was not living to her standards in the household. And maybe he wasn't in some degree, but there were times where Gottman's elaborating in the story that she said something to her parents about him just so that she could get the upper hand, because she needed to take care of her work and career, but he wasn't fulfilling some things at the house. But after having that conversation with the counselor, with Gottman himself, the wife and the husband, she realized, oh, my we-ness, the we in me, the we-ness is taking out our relationship, our marriage, because I'm starting to sacrifice our marriage for the approval of my parents. And then she realized, uh-oh, I got to stop doing that, or else I'm going to destroy this marriage. We're going to fall into a divorce. And so by standing up for himself, even bringing it up to her, hey, I'm not a bad person. Yes, I may have done bad things that I can work on at the house, but I'm taking care of our son in front of your parents. I'm a good caretaker. I'm a good dad. And so by standing up for himself, and then vice versa, standing up as a wife to your husband even, you're taking care of your kids, and he or is criticizing you just because maybe you're not living up to the standards that he had in mind, she had in mind, etc. Now I'm switching vice versa. The point is, if your partner's not validating yourself at home behind the scenes and they're accusing you and you're saying, hey, I'm doing the right things, but you recognize now the bigger picture that your relationship is at stake. The divorce is coming up because nothing is happening. There's no effective communication between you two. You got to keep that in mind, because if you're going to destroy your relationship just so you can gain the approval of your parents over your husband and your wife, etc., you're going to be in a terrible situation. And I've seen so many divorces fall into that situation prior to that, where it was building up this idea of approving those that you thought would have mattered to you, but then you realized, I destroyed a beautiful relationship that was there. I followed my wrong intuition. I wanted to be selfish and follow the approval of someone who I thought was in charge, because they, in my opinion, were more important and I had control in that situation. But I realized I have to give up some control to help my spouse, my partner, in the situation for our relationship to flourish. And that's where Gottman is bringing this up, where if you are trying to go and control everything in your marriage, in your relationship, etc., how is your partner going to be a leader in their own right? To satisfy needs for the family and the kids, etc., to get the job, to support the needs of the family, etc. Because Carolyn, in her story, she had to stand up to her husband and family at times in order to stand up for their well-being, because she recognized, we're in trouble. We have to get out of here, or we're going to lose everything just because you are not listening to me. You have to listen to me. And so having that open dialogue is important between parents and the kids, etc. So that way you're all on the same page and not being overlooked. And so going back to a career setting, the fact that, I was giving up many things for one of my bosses in the past before, to where he was saying, right, why would we do that? Why do we do that? Okay, yada yada. Why would you recommend this? Okay. We were not having conversation anymore because I was no longer following him. I was no longer saying what he wanted to hear. I was saying things that had to be done. And so when you, as the person who is working for someone higher, say things that have to be done, be prepared. The person at the top may not approve of that. They may not approve of your opinion because you are standing up for something that has to be done. And they may come against you when you think, oh my gosh, I got to make a choice now. Do I become a follower again? Go back to a people pleaser? Or do I stand up and be authentic? Put my foot on the ground and say, hey, I'm going to get out of this job, this toxic environment, this working relationship. This environment's not supporting me and you together as I thought it would, because now it's turning everything against each other, even against our relationship, against our home, against the well-being of everybody that we are involved with. This environment is not supporting ourselves in this moment. So consider what's in your environment in the situations that lead up to all these negative arguments, disagreements, to divorces, etc., being bankrupt. If your environment is not supporting the family, say for example, you're not able to have conversation at the dinner table. You're not able to have a good talk where there's a TV in front of you guys, or maybe you are together at the TV, but you're not having a conversation. Look around you. Are you all living in different rooms now in the same house? Did you all become roommates? Did you all become roommates just for the sake that you wouldn't rock the boat and not tarnish the relationship at hand? Just things to consider. But the thing is, if you don't consider these factors in your relationship with your friends, your family, husband, wife, mom and dad, etc., then things are going to fall apart. The house is divided. The house is divided, and now everyone's going to go their own way. And maybe that was something that is going to happen because now you're all leaders in your own way, right? Inadvertently, just because now you're all following your own thing. But the thing is, you don't have to go into an extreme environment like that unless you have to. Because if you have a healthy, loving family, you can talk things out. You can be a good leader in this sense, mom and dad. Dad, mom, however your situation is, leadership. If you are in the position to talk with your kids, to say, hey, let's have a talk right now. How did school go? How did your life go today? Was there a bully? Was your teacher good today? Did you do good on your school? Are you ready to go for the track meet, etc.? Ready for the football game? And have those dialogues, that conversation. And you as a leader can provide that opportunity for the people underneath you in this role, in this opportunity. And if you can do that, allowing communication, allowing people to express their needs to you in a healthy way, having that healthy conversation with people that you know, that you're raising, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be in a healthy, happy relationship and family environment. Everyone's now safe. everyone can talk and speak their mind. Everyone can now validate and say more than just what has to be what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. See, Maxwell would be happy on that regard. And then like Carolyn, going back to her point, leaving the cult to protect her family, everyone now is on the same page. We're all safe and protected. We're safe and protected from evil people. We can now take care of ourselves and get out of the situation. And so as we get out of toxic situations, when you're ready to find the next opportunity to make a stand, to listen to your voice, try this for self-care. Listen within. What has to be said? What has to be done? What do I need to do in this moment right now? I need some time to clarify. Maybe get to a quiet room, piece of paper, write out some of these goals. Write out what has to be done. And I need to accomplish this year, maybe this in 2 years, 3 years. Set some time so that way now you're on a roll to accomplish things and see where your life takes you on, and where you were at that point 2 years later from now, looking back from when you made that piece of paper and the goals, and you say, wow, I made that and I accomplished more than what I thought I could accomplish. Good for you. You did it. You're now advocating for yourself, your peace, your mind, your whole being. You are advocating for yourself. And that is what I want from this video at the end of the day. To advocate for yourself, to stand up for what you have to do, to stand up, to share through healthy communication what I need to get accomplished today. People may not like what you decide to do in life, and that's okay. Let the chips fall where they fall. Let the dice be cast. And if you have a low score versus somebody else, okay, bide your time for the time being, and then try to make your stand with a boundary, and then try to escape. Literally, escape the situation for a healthier one. It's all right to get out of a toxic place. People will say, oh, is that the easy way out? Well, hey, do you want to be abused, or do you want to get out of the toxic situation? It's your choice. And by all means, be my guest. You have a choice. I can only share my opinions and my ideas on the channel, but I'm just sharing with you all. Listen to your mind, your voice, your inner voice, and say, okay, this is what we need to do today. I need to get out of this toxic relationship or it's going to destroy everybody, and we're going to lose everything in the process. The home, the house, go bankrupt, etc. We need to get this done or we're going to be in trouble. So on a piece of paper, just write down things that I'm going to accomplish today, tomorrow, next year, 2 years from now. And by looking at that, and then on the other side of that sentence, maybe write, okay, and why is that important to you? I'm going to apply for this job. And why? So that way I can accomplish money. And then maybe a second reason, so that way I'm feeling better, accomplishing what I need to get done. And then maybe a third reason, now I'm going to live a healthy life. Going to let go of the negative treats, negative habits, be healthier, and say yes to me. And maybe the purpose of it, just so that way the outcome, I am happy to follow my voice and I advocate for myself, and now I can trust myself and love myself. That's the objective. That's the goal of that earlier goal. And so give that a shot. Write down your list on a piece of paper and see where that takes you. But I hope this video finds you well today, and I hope the more I can tackle the earlier videos, the more I can do more of these longer videos for you all in the public to share and just to see where they take us. And I think looking at more books, to me, that's how I draw out ideas. And if you like that perspective, by all means, let me know. If not, it's okay, because I want to keep going with this, what I need to do, because to me, this feels great, having some backup as far as sharing ideas, sharing from my experiences, and then drawing out the story, the lesson as best as I can. So we'll just see where this takes us. But all right, everyone, hope this video helped you in many ways. Don't give up on yourself, and always remember, advocate for your voice, listen to yourself, make the choice, write the goals down, and you got this. You will escape the situation, the negative ones, for a better one. All right, everyone. All right, take care. Have a good one.